I think it's a disgrace they haven't won anything. I just think it's a joke, really. Like, how can you have them players and not even get not even League Cup?
Think about it, that's £70 million to give the ball away. Like, they do that in League Two.
Guys, it's totally irrelevant. If it's a misunderstanding or not, you're being told to leave the pitch, get off the pitch. In terms of this season, I can't see them. I can't see them doing well. I just feel like they've got I personally don't back manager. I don't back any of their centre halves. There's a mentality there where if you're going to hire your manager, which you sacked, and then hire him back to get you moving forward, it just doesn't make sense to me. Where has he gone? What's happened? Because I have my own theory.
Go on.
My own theory. Samuel.
Chucklehead. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Because I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser.
Audio listeners who did the Lux Aubameyang handshake.
And I always forget it.
Okay, this podcast we're going to be talking about. This is going to be called the Football Corner, and this is where we talk about our passion as football fans. We're going to try our best to be as non-Arsenal fans.
It's just a football chat.
Yes,
that's
essentially, yeah. The first thing I wanted to bring up was
All or Nothing.
All or Nothing, yeah. All or Nothing, the Tottenham Hotspur documentary on Amazon Prime. We've both watched 9 episodes, isn't it? 9 episodes.
9 episodes.
Yeah, so taking my Arsenal hat off, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting to see Premier League team behind the scenes,
100%.
how they train. You know what is actually most interesting is the half times. I've always been interested to know what happens at half time. What's said between not just the manager, like what he says, but like what do the players say? Because effectively, my opinion on Spurs, just taking myself away from the documentary, Spurs for the last 5 years have had a world-class team.
They've been on the up.
Yeah, well, essentially they are a top 4 team in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
Premier League is the most competitive league in the world, in my opinion. I feel like there's so many great teams in the Premier League. The only thing I will say, and I know people will come at me for this, I think it's a disgrace they haven't won anything. I just think it's a joke, really. Like, how can you have them players and not even get League Cup? Nothing.
Well, honestly, I don't know.
No, but wait, sorry. I will let you talk.
Go on.
I will let you talk. I'm not taking anything away from getting into the Champions League final. That is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is an accomplishment, and I'm not taking anything away from that. But I'm just talking about trophies. How come they can't even get the League Cup, FA Cup?
Do you know what it is? I honestly think that, as we said, like in terms of the team they've built over the past 5 years, however long it is, I think because they have at one point, or in however many seasons, had a title push, or they've been involved in the title race, I actually think they've been a bit excited. Like, they've been like, we've got a chance to win the big one. Let's forget everything else. And I think that Tottenham's last trophy was the League Cup. And I think if they won a League Cup, players like Harry Kane, there wouldn't be speculation of him leaving, because he would have eventually won that trophy that has eluded Tottenham for a while, and then they might get that winning feeling. It might be like, we've won the League Cup, maybe next is the FA Cup, maybe we can put a challenge in for the league. Who knows? But I think with that documentary, something that I really enjoyed it. I think again, like, it is, as you said, very interesting to find out what is actually said. Something I would have liked to see a little bit more was the difference between a Pochettino half-time team talk and a Mourinho.
I was a bit disappointed in that aspect, because I always had the impression we'd get some of Pochettino, and then the majority of it would have been Mourinho. So it's a shame that we didn't get Poch's sort of behind-the-scenes look.
It was almost like in memory of Pochettino at the beginning, and then like for like half an episode, and it was like, here's Jose.
Yeah. I mean, the only criticism I had is I felt like there was a lot of like games they showed were the ones that they won.
Yeah,
I found that a bit frustrating, because effectively the best bits were when they lost. And I'm not saying that again. I'm just saying it's the reactions from the players and the arguments and the passion. You really see that come out at half time if they're 1-0 down or whatever, 2-0 down. Mourinho saying like, "What have you got?" Like, I don't particularly like Mourinho either.
I'm really, I'm not a big fan of him.
I feel like he talks so much, and it's also so much cheesy things, and it's like I've really struggled to take that seriously.
I honestly think his language, and obviously I'm not going to repeat the language because for those of you who potentially haven't seen the documentary, it's very aggressive, and there's a lot of rude words that are mentioned.
He has got a point. He's talking about being an aggressive player. He's talking about not being nice.
That's all he needed to say. He didn't need to say the word that he said.
But I actually feel like he's the sort of person that says a word and it's not effective. He's trying to come across as the rudest word possible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for him. Spurs didn't have. I mean, I know they're similar to us. They're now going through a transitional stage with the new manager, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, at the moment, they've made some signings. They may pay off, and they may not. And it's very similar to us. We've signed some very young centre halves. We've signed some players, and we've just got to see how it goes. I mean, in this current market, for example, coming to Arsenal now, in this current market, how much is Pepe worth? If we had to sell Pepe tomorrow, how much is he worth?
My opinion would probably be different to yours. I think if you're looking at how much we paid for him, the current global situation, I think we probably get half the value. Because it hasn't paid off.
Funnily enough, I actually totally agree. I think anything between 30 and 40 million at the moment, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it's a similar thing with Ndombele. They've spent £60 million on that player, but potentially he could be worth that. And I feel like it's harsh to judge someone, especially when they're not world class players. Like if you're say for example, if you bought a world class player like let's say like Harry Kane, pretty much
you know what you're gonna get.
He's gonna land on the floor running. So if I was Real Madrid and I bought Harry Kane, I know that is gonna be a person that's gonna be good. Yeah.
But then saying that, if we go to splash in however much money, look at Chelsea. Chelsea spent 75 million or however much it was on Kepa, and they've just bought another goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And Kepa's making the other week, this week even, he made such a silly mistake against Liverpool. Think about it, that's 70 odd million pounds to give the ball away. Like they do that in League Two.
Yeah.
Like I'm just thinking, how can you just justify that?
I mean, it's difficult because there's so many football moments where you feel like that's completely out of order. And like for example, when he refused to leave, I know that it's a misunderstanding, but it's irrelevant. In my eyes, it's totally irrelevant. If it's a misunderstanding or not, you're being told to leave the pitch, get off the pitch.
Well, with that, I get, if your manager in any job tells you to do something, for a gritted teeth sometimes you have to do it. However, I also think it showed a sign of passion, because maybe he knew he wasn't having a good game and he was like, I want to fight this out. I want to show you I'm your number one goalkeeper. Admittedly, in the public eye, it's going to be like, well, Kepa doesn't listen to anyone, does what he wants. But I think there is that element of it shows that he does want to get better and he does want to show what he can do, because he's got the number one jersey. Obviously, he's been bought for however much, and you need to prove that. Like any goal, like money for players now, I personally think is ridiculous. Like no footballer should be like even like we're going to go to the extent of like European players, Mbappe, Neymar, 100, 200 million. I think it is absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that much money. But if you're getting bought for that much money, you need to justify it. It can't be like I'm the most expensive player. Great. But you're not very good.
Yeah, I know. I think it's always very circumstantial. Like you look at the likes of Pogba, they spent £100 million on him, and the rumour is, I don't know how true it is, but the rumour is in shirt sales they made up for it in a week or 2 weeks or something like that.
Ridiculous.
Which fair enough. I can see there being a lot of shirts bought, but £100 million worth, and is that all going towards Manchester United? Manchester United, admittedly, they earn the most money out of any other football team in the world, so fair enough. But then you can't. That doesn't take away from the fact you cost the club £100 million.
You put it this way, like when I think I was actually with you when Pogba re-signed and did the whole Pogback thing, and you don't this is going to sound such a stupid comment. You don't win a trophy for the most amount of shirt sales. And it's effectively like, well, we've got Paul Pogba, we made all this money, but you came out 7th in the league when you came back. Like,
yeah, I mean, in terms of this season, I can't see them. I can't see them doing well. I just feel like they've got no. I personally don't back manager. I don't back any of their centre halves. You know, I think they've got a very youthful and very good forward team, but I just feel like when you think about the Man United that they used to be, it's so sort of like.
Yeah, but you can say that. You
isn't
can
it?
say that about so many teams though. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly think that, like, I know football has changed, the style, obviously the money, everything has changed, but I think the quality of teams that we had, like when we were younger at Arsenal, for example, with Henry, with Bergkamp, Pires, Lundberg, Man United, Beckham, Keane, Van Nistelrooy, even Ronaldo getting in there. The teams are all like in every single position, from goalkeeper to attack, there was a well recognised player.
Yeah.
And I think now a lot of teams in the Prem, especially, are very top heavy. They're just focused on their attack, and the defence and potentially goalkeeper get left behind. Which is why, like, for example, in this week in the Prem, there was games that were 4-3 and 5-2. Like, there's so many goals because yes, there's not been a great amount of pre-season because of everything that's going on in the world right now. But I think that it's because they don't care about the defence. They just think about the goals.
I was thinking about as well our goalkeeper Emi Martinez going for 20 million.
I'm gutted.
I mean, potentially that could be a great bargain. I mean, I know that he hasn't had a lot of Premier League appearances, but he had such a good form for us in the last few games, winning the Community Shield and the FA Cup, and beating Liverpool, beating Man City. Yeah, exactly.
Like crying on the pitch.
The problem I have with that transfer is that when you let players go that are proper, like I would classify him as a gooner. Like he is a proper club man.
We spent his whole, yes, he went out on loan, but his whole professional career was contracted to Arsenal up until now, and I think it's just so good to have them sort of people around the club. You know, like for example, you've got that Harry Winks, and they showed that in the documentary that he's a complete. He's a Spurs fan.
I mean, I know that he got offered to other London clubs before Spurs. Yeah, I know. Yes, I'm not going to say.
How do you know that? Are you like?
I just have sources. I know that he was offered other clubs that are bigger than Spurs, right? And he went to Spurs, and you have to admire him for that. And in a way, it's sort of like Gerrard. Gerrard was talking quite a few years ago about Mourinho asking him to constantly come to Chelsea or Real Madrid, and he was like, his answer was, if I score a goal for Liverpool, it's worth more than any
honestly,
scoring for any other team.
I feel like, and this may be going a bit out there, every time he scored for Liverpool, because he was Mr. Liverpool effectively, it's like winning the league. Like he's won the lottery every single time because he loves that club. Like Steven Gerrard, I think before he went to Rangers, he was went from working playing in America straight to working in their youth academies and things like that. Because he's Steven Gerrard, he can do what he wants. Yeah. And I actually think it's easy to say, but I honestly feel like if there was a player that loved the club at every club. It would make it so much more fun. I couldn't tell you a single player, maybe Aubameyang, I don't know, that loves the club. Like he's not like a Harry Winks, or I'd say even like a Marcus Rashford, who plays for the team they support, and when they score a goal, they love it. And it really annoys me when commentators say, "Oh, and here's so and so who supported the team that he's playing against. Would he love to score against them?" Like, it really annoys me. Like, why do I need to know that information?
Yeah, I know. The commentators are sometimes very, very biased, and that does affect. For me, it affects watching it because it's such a load of nonsense when you can see they're clearly so one-sided.
Exactly, and it's like that's all you focus on in the game.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Oh, it's so annoying.
The second you catch them out though, really supporting the other team, it's like for example. And I'm not saying we played really well, but I was watching our game, the Carabao Cup, against Leicester, right? We had 3 shots on target, they had 1. After we scored the goal, the commentator said, Arsenal are so lucky to have scored that goal. Statistically speaking, that's so not true. And the thing is, that was one of many examples, do you know what I mean? Like, he kept going on and on and on. But I do, honestly, I mean, I'm so happy the Premier League's back. and it's so funny to see, even without all of the thousands of people in that crowd, it's still the same. Spurs, for example, had quite a bad performance against Everton.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, Southampton.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. And the difference is ridiculous. Like, it's chalk and cheese. It's black and white.
But then going back to that...
right, we've got to pause this. Chinese.
Chinese.
Oh, sorry about that.
So
sorry about that.
Terrible. But yeah, as we were saying about Tottenham,
oh yeah,
they were unbelievable in what first half a bit questionable. It makes me wonder, going back to the documentary, what Mourinho said in that dressing room, because Son scored just before half time, and then he had an absolute madness, and Harry Kane basically became a quarterback. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I've never seen a combination like it.
Yeah, I think it was Son's fourth goal, and the cross that came from Kane was ridiculous.
It was magical. Like,
so yeah, I feel like it's really good to see that the magic of the Premier League is still there, even though, because I honestly thought it can't be the same without with empty stadiums. It can't be the same for the players, but it seems that we've still got that magic there.
I think that you have to give credit to the Premier League and all the broadcasters that it's actually happened, because football is such a massive part of a lot of people's lives, like local communities, and people have supported their teams for such a long time, and it's it's amazing that it's back, and everyone is a sofa supporter pretty much at the minute, but like you can still get the passion. I love it, mate. I absolutely love the game.
Yeah.
So gonna go.
So you think Man City are going to win the league? Is that right?
My initial prediction at the beginning of the season, when we did our prediction, was Man City. Liverpool looked very good. I can't lie to you. And my City prediction was contingent on the fact that Liverpool get injuries, because they didn't have any injuries last season. So they're big players, and City look good. Like Kevin, it's just a beast.
I feel like they've got. I mean, Nathan Ake is not. I'm sorry, he's not Premier League winning.
He's not.
Player,
but I think he's a good signing. If they get Koulibaly, I don't know if it's going to happen.
I feel like honestly that's what they need. They do need a proper world class centre half, and they're probably good to compete in anything.
But if you think you say you don't rate Nathan Ake that much, I think it's a third choice. He'll be the best third choice in the league. That's just my opinion. I think if you've got Laporte and Koulibaly, Nathan Ake is great to come as a replacement.
I guess if that's what they're going to do, I feel like with Liverpool signings they've made, I think that's going to really help them. I mean, they got that Thiago for 20 million. That is
unbelievable.
That's again another bargain, potentially bargain.
It makes you think, like, he's just won the Champions League. How is he only 20 odd million? And then you've got, like, I think what they're doing on their wings as well. Like you said in our predictions, that their wingers are scary if Salah and Mane aren't on the pitch. Honestly, getting Diogo Jota and potentially Ousmane Dembele or Ismaila Sarr, like that actually terrifies me. We've got Liverpool twice.
We've got wow. Yeah.
It's not great.
With the way we've been playing, I'm not too confident. I'll be honest. I'm going to support my team, but I'm not too confident.
Listen, when you're up against a team like Liverpool, like it was even like as we were talking about teams previously, when Chelsea were winning the league, even when Leicester won the league, like when a team is on a run of form and every single player is like 110%, they can be unbeatable. So
surely David Moyes is going to get the sack. Surely. When does this joke become not funny?
Right, David Moyes, right? This is again my personal opinion. I think David Moyes is a good manager. Hear me out though. I think when he went to Man United, it was too soon for him, and similar to the Arsenal situation and probably at Chelsea as well. Like when they got rid of a successful manager, the team isn't going to perform the same. I think David Moyes, yes, okay, he got relegated with Sunderland. He went to Spain and didn't have a great time. But I think you need to remember what he did at Everton, and he did keep West Ham up. Personally, I think West Ham is a club where I think West Ham fans would probably agree that the owners need to get in the bin. For one, it's like I don't know what they're doing. They don't do what's needed for the club. They just they think we're going to sell our best prospect. We'll sell like Dimitri Payet or something. Like Dimitri Payet, that was so exciting to watch West Ham when they had him.
Yeah, it was.
And I can't tell you an exciting West Ham player. Like West Ham with a team can be quite exciting. Or in the past,
I think we were very lucky to beat them only because of our performance. I felt like we had no midfield.
They were a better team. They were the better team.
And but at the same time, there's a mentality there where if you're going to hire your manager, which you sacked, and then hire him back to get you moving forward, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to go back and try and go forward.
I do agree with that, but I just think
the whole reason you got rid of him is to
but I don't know why
go for someone else.
Like, did they only get rid of him because Pellegrini was available? Like that's what you need to think. Because David Moyes, they brought him in because they were struggling in the league. He kept them in the Premier League when they looked like they were going down. He did it again last year, and West Ham shouldn't be in that position. They should be mid-table with the players they've got. Realistically, they could challenge for a European spot because they've got some very good players. But the mentality of the team and the owners, like, it is a mess.
Yeah.
And also like they're sorry. I know you're going to say something, but they've I saw on Facebook. I've got a few friends who are West Ham supporters who have tweeted the board and things like that. The board are blocking their supporters. The board are like, we want none of that. We're not going to listen to you. I don't care what you want to say.
That is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
I am excited about the Premier League, and I'm getting so passionate about this because there's so many great players coming in. You've got that Semedo that's just come in for Wolves.
That's unbelievable.
Timo Werner, I just think he's got to become a legend, Premier League legend. I can see him scoring so many goals for Chelsea.
He needs, when he gets one, I don't think he'll stop.
Kai Havertz coming into Chelsea.
Chelsea have
potentially Koulibaly going into Man City. I don't know what any other transfers that might happen before it closes, but I just love seeing this. I love seeing the best players in Europe come into the Premier League, and we can enjoy it. I feel so cheated with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi not ever coming. Oh, sorry,
Ronaldo
not
before,
coming. For example, Messi. Could you imagine Messi coming to the Premier
I just
League?
think like we're very lucky. I think like if Messi would have been in the Prem, I think we would have been spoiled. Because you've got so many unbelievable players. Like Messi would top it off, but there's a list of like, if you were to list, I'm not going to do it right now, but list like 50 players best in the Prem of all time, you could probably do it easily. Because some of the players that are on that list, we've mentioned some of them already.
Yeah.
Like through the years, like from at least in our lifetime, there's definitely 100 players that lit up the Prem.
So one last thing I wanted to go through, right? And I thought this would be not just a relevant thing as an Arsenal fan, but I thought it would be quite relevant for just football fans looking at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell? Where is Mesut Ozil? Where is Mesut Ozil? Where has he gone? What's happened?
It's
because I have my own theory.
Go on.
My own theory is that he came out, and I don't know why. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an awful thing what's happening in China with these. I think they've got these Muslim camps in China. I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to talk about it too much because I might come across as not knowing it properly. Yeah. But he came out talking about the injustice of what's going on. Fair enough, right? Arsenal shut him down straight away. I think it was the very next day. I think they basically said something like they detached themselves from Mesut Ozil, saying that they are his own views, and really it's them just sort of trying to protect themselves, just trying to be from anything which is maybe controversial, and to be completely like, that's Mesut's opinion, and please leave us out of it. And Ozil probably felt like stabbed in the back. But the problem is, does he have the right to get involved with stuff like that in his position?
I think you've got to remember when we got Ozil, we were getting World Cup winner and an assist demon, like unbelievable. And when he first came, it was unbelievable.
In his prime, he was the best passer in the Premier League. In his prime, he was the best passer.
I think he's one of them players where, and we saw it with Alexis Sanchez. He needs to be able to provide to absolute quality. He can't provide to a mediocre player. And yes, I know we've got Aubameyang, we've got Lacazette up front, but he's so far down the pecking order now because of his own attitude, because of he's maybe not so much with Aubameyang now, because the highest paid player, he still gets paid to not play, and the fact that he refused to take a pay cut when the players took a pay cut, like it's an attitude thing, and I think that yes, he was very good, and it's actually not benefited Arsenal getting him and having him on such high wages because we can never get rid of him.
I actually feel he's at the point of no return now. I feel like he's gone. I feel like he's in the club, yeah, fair enough, but he's gone. I feel like there's no intent for him to get back in. Fair enough, you see photos of him training and stuff like that, but I'm just so upset that we don't know the truth. And is my theory right, or is he just not fit enough? Is he not just good enough? Is that actually the reason?
Well, he is, like we said, like at one time, and I completely agree, he was the best passer of a ball in the Prem, possibly in the world. Like, you've got to put him in the conversation of that at the time. I just think that he did too much, and the money he's on, I think maybe it's an ego thing.
Yeah, but
maybe
the money thing, it was his agent trying it on because we obviously just lost Sanchez, and I don't think the club could have allowed themselves to lose Sanchez and Ozil in such a short space of time. But obviously, it's a great thing looking back and being like, oh, well, you should have, because when I was going to the Emirates before the lockdown, he couldn't run after 60 minutes, and you think, really, like, why are you not fit? It's not like you're mid-30s. Like, why can't you run? Just run. He's always been and this is controversial, always been very one-dimensional.
Oh, definitely.
Very one-dimensional.
Definitely.
He could have never shot the ball properly, really, with a force, or like a Kevin De Bruyne shot. Like, could never do that. He could never tackle. He'd get pushed off the ball so easily. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking any. I'm just listing his cons. I'm not saying that.
No, but with that,
he's got no pros.
I don't know if you're gonna remember the goal I'm gonna mention. There was a goal in the Europa League where he was on the halfway line, went past two players, went past the goalkeeper. Yeah. That happened in slow motion.
Yeah, it did.
Like, if it was an Aubameyang, it would have been done instantly.
It looked good though.
It looked good, and maybe because it was slower, it was even more pleasing. I don't know, but I think this is going to be my last point on Ozil. And before I say this, I'm not comparing the two players in the slightest, but I think Ozil is going to be remembered. Like, he's not going to be remembered, for his time before Arsenal. I think it's just going to be Ozil came to Arsenal, had a good season, and went missing. I also think, like, that's tarnished his legacy, whatever legacy he had, similar to players like Zidane. Zidane, one of the best players of all time. What's your first thought when you think of Zidane?
Headbutt.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's tarnished his legacy. Lazy. Headbutt. It's the same sort of thing. And yes, okay, Zidane is a different ball game, but I think it's a similar sort of thing. You're going to remember him for that one thing. He'll always be that lazy Arsenal player. Simple as.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Well, on that note, that's been a good conversation, I feel like. Guys, if you're into football, let us know what to talk about. Like, what's your thoughts? Anything you want us to talk about? Something in your team, maybe? Unfortunately, we will drift into Arsenal now and again. But we're very passionate about this.
I was going to say, it'd be very interesting to see if you agree with me or you agree with Jack, or have a completely different opinion, because ultimately everyone has an opinion on football. I can't say I'm right, I can't say Jack's right, because ultimately it's an opinion.
Let us know if you agree or disagree. Also, what happens, Sam, if they share this podcast?
If you share this podcast, you are an absolute legend.
Oh, legend.
Yes,
we really appreciate that. If you do that is going to help us. Basically, that is what is going to make us grow. So you can be a part of that by literally just going to your mate. You know what? These two fellas, they just chat all about it. And you got to put your ear into this combo. Let us know if you enjoyed Football Corner. This is our first episode, and we want to carry on.
We're going to try and make it a weekly thing.
Oh,
talk about the topical things of that week, the results, anything controversial that happens. I feel that would be really good, and leave a comment as well, because if you leave a comment, as Jack said, we'll read all of them, every single comment, and we'll give you a shout out as well.
Excellent. All right, I'm gonna end it. All right, be lucky,
and we'll see you when you're older.